Hi, everybody. This is Crystal Proxmire of Oakland County Times. We're here today with Mark Skelcy, who is running for Rochester Hills City Council. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for being here. Can you just tell us why you decided to run for council?
Yeah. Back in March, a friend of mine contacted me and she was telling me how nobody was running for the at-large position in Rochester Hills. And at the time I was like, we can't have an empty position. And I'm like, nobody's running. I talked to my wife about it. She's like, sure, if this is something that you want to try, let's do it. And so I got my daughter, one of my ex-athletes, and a couple of my friends to help out. I had to get 75 signatures, which we did on a Sunday morning, and we turned them in. And I'm excited because I really feel that it's something I can give back to the community. The community's done a lot for me. We've always enjoyed the area. The schools are fantastic. So I'm like, I've lived here 22 years. It's time to give back to the city.
What are some of the things that you'd like to work on if you're elected?
There's two things. One is the green spaces. As I said earlier, we moved here because of the schools. The second reason was the green spaces. We love the parks. We love the trails. Um, Rochester Hills is very desirable. People want to move out this way. Businesses want to move out this way. So when you have businesses and new housing taking place that could be totally new construction, you really want to make sure that our green spaces are protected. I think they're pretty well managed now, but I want to make sure that continues and that the green spaces have a voice through me, and people that use those green spaces know they have a friend that will be sitting on city council. The other piece is the recycling. Um, I believe that our recycling program could be done a little better. It's okay now, but I think people don't understand what can really be recycled or not. For example, pizza boxes with grease on it, can't recycle it. Those go into a landfill, that type of thing. And I think through education, either through online education or in-person classes, if you can tell, the citizens of Rochester Hills how to do it, we can do it better. Someone brought up to me that maybe our garbage cans need to be switched, where the garbage is actually the smaller container and the recycling is the larger container.
Can you tell us a bit about your professional experience and the skills you bring to the table?
Yeah, I am a retired school teacher. I taught for over 30 years, kindergarten through fifth grade science. And at the time, I was also the union rep for about 10 years in our building. So I'm familiar with how meetings work, with how councils work, the importance of a union. I'm very pro-union. I think unions have allowed me to have a great health care, a fair and good paying job. And like I said, the union brought all those things uh, for me and for my family, actually. So, when you're dealing with little children, you got to be a good listener. Kids want to be heard, adults want to be heard, and you have to be a listener. You're not always going to agree with them. Though a 5-year-old does try pretty hard to get their argument across to you, just like anybody does. They really want their ideas heard or their issues heard, and I can bring that to the city council.
What are some of the ways that you've been involved in the community?
I've actually been involved with the schools and my kids. Anytime my wife and I had an opportunity to go into the buildings to help out, we did that. Um, I've actually coached at Oakland Community College. I know that's in Auburn Hills, but we've worked with the city through our small business that we have. And we've worked with the surrounding municipalities with our small business. So, I've worked with a lot of different local governments, and knowing that, bringing that to the table, I think is important. So.
So in this race, there are two people running for this position. Why should the voters pick you?
Mhm. Um, I'll be honest. I think all the candidates are good candidates. It's important to know that they're going to have good representation. I feel, though, bringing with me my passion to keep the green spaces green is huge. Because that really rolls over to a lot of different things with, homes, environmental issues, pedestrian issues. Um, and then again, like the recycling program, I just want to see our community keep moving forward. There's not a lot of huge problems in Rochester Hills, and I think that's a good thing. But there are issues, everything from, charging for entry at Innovation Hills to the Adams Road expansion. These are important issues to people. So,
So if voters want more information about you and your campaign, where can they go?
yeah, they can go to electmarkskelcy.com. And we update that as much as we can. I've had the UAW has endorsed me, the AFL-CIO has endorsed me, the Rochester Democratic Club has endorsed me. So I do have the endorsements. And honestly, just knocking on doors, it's just interesting to get out there and meet people. So I find it to be very uplifting, honestly.
Perfect. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
hmm Well, thanks for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity.